You're welcome back. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, has cautioned government to ensure that they do not touch pension funds of workers, else they would incur their wrath. The union has given government a one-week ultimatum to announce an exemption for pension funds from the government's announced debt exchange program. Addressing a news conference Monday, Secretary General of TUC, Dr. Anthony Alban, says workers must brace for an industrial action to protect their funds.
Already pension is low. And we would have thought that our government would do everything to protect even the small pension that we have. Instead, they are introducing programs inspired by IMF to cut further pension income. And as we used to say, we no go sit down. Yes. Therefore, the Trade Union Congress and all its affiliate national unions have decided that pension funds of our members will not be part of the domestic debt exchange program. Let me repeat that one. The TUC and all our affiliates have decided, and this is a very firm decision, that the pension funds of our members will not be part of the domestic debt exchange program. So, earlier this morning, we have dispatched a letter to the Minister for Finance, and we are demanding that all pension funds invested in government bonds should be completely exempted from the domestic debt exchange program. We are also demanding in that letter that within 1 week from today, government should publicly announce that all pension funds, including SNIT, are exempted from the debt exchange program. Again, in the letter, we have served notice that if government fails to accede to our demand within 1 week, we will advise ourselves. But the letter has been delivered, and I made sure those who took the letter signed. So, comrades, on the debt exchange program, this is our position. It is simple and very clear. And if government refuses to exempt pension funds, including SNIT, we will advise ourselves. I am sure they understand that. And the red that we are in is enough demonstration that we are not joking. We are not bluffing. So on this note, I'll now move to some of the issues we raised in the budget, in the 2023 budget. That's quite a lot, so please exercise patience. In the budget, government announced various IMF-inspired measures to deal with the economic and financial crisis, some of which are clearly inappropriate and wrong. And they include the following. Number one, taxation. Government has announced increases in taxes starting from January 2023 in this current economic situation. And you know what they touched? VAT, which is indirect consumption tax, affects everybody equally, whether you are poor or you are rich. And the value-added tax rate is projected to go up by 2.5 percentage points. But if you work percentage points, it's getting to about 14% increase. They have also increased the maximum personal income tax margin from 30% to 35%. Currently, if you earn $4,000 a month, you're already in the high bracket. And they are moving you to 35%, which leaves less money in your pocket for you and your family in these current economic conditions.
Dr. Kwabena Nyako Otu is an economist for the Trade Union Congress. He joins us via Zoom now. Thanks, Doc, for your time. So you say that government has defaulted in the payment of pension contributions of some 600,000 public sector workers. So how much, in terms of the quantity, are we referring to here?
I do not have the actual figures, but what we know is that since about the first quarter of this year, contributions to pensions, particularly the second tier, have not been coming from government. And these are contributions government has to make on behalf of government workers. He has to pay for the second tier or the third-tier pension scheme.
So let's deal with the main concern, the debt exchange program. You have concerns and fears that the exercise may not augur well for pensioners. What's your independent assessment of the exercise? At least the government says it's a voluntary exercise. So we've not seen anything contrary to that, nor a legislative order asking that bondholders carry out the debt exchange program. So you could opt out or perhaps impress on the fund managers to opt out of the program.
Okay, so, I mean, the thing, I mean, my assessment cannot be an independent assessment. My assessment is based on my views as a trade unionist and as a worker of the Trade Union Congress. It's based on our assessment. You may not describe it as independent, but that is our view. Our view is that it is voluntary, but if you look at the details of it, it is not entirely voluntary. So, for example, I have a pension fund invested in bond, which is due in 2023. Now, government is saying that I should voluntarily agree to push it to 2027. Unfortunately, if I don't do that, there are indications that my pension fund will not be paid. If I don't do that, my pension fund will not be paid. And as the Deputy Minister for Finance indicated earlier on last week, those that refuse to be part of that voluntary debt exchange program are on their own. So in actual fact, it is not voluntary as it's being made to appear. We can ask our pension fund managers not to participate, but we are not sure what will happen when our pension funds invested in bond actually become due in, say, 2023. We are not sure of it. That is why we are asking government to publicly announce that all pension funds are exempted. And if you are exempted, then it is treated as funds invested in treasury bills. We have a guarantee that when they become due, government will pay.
Is it not the case that you're placing too much on the table of government as the Trades Union Congress? You're just coming out from negotiations with government on a pay rise, 60% you're asking for, and now you're putting a fresh demand on the table. Are you doing all of this oblivious of the fact that we're in an economic crisis?
We are not oblivious of the fact that we are in economic crisis. What many people get wrong is that crisis affects workers. So when you say, for example, the high deficit, it's also a household worker component to that high deficit and high debt. Think of a worker receiving 1,800 Ghana cedis in this economy, paying lorry fare, transport fares to and from work every day, catering for about 3 children and a wife or a husband. Don't you think that that worker is also in a deficit? We are protecting our interests, the interests of our members. And if doing so means that we are placing too much on government's plate, so be it. I'm not sure you're asking us not to protect the interests of the members that have entrusted their interests to us.
What will be your next line of action? At least you're not happy. Government says it's going ahead with the program. What are you likely to do?
So the Secretary General was clear that we will advise ourselves, and government will definitely hear from us. He's also very clear that in the coming week, I think on Wednesday, there will be a steering committee meeting. And then on Thursday, Friday, there will be a meeting of the General Council of the TUC, which is the second highest decision-making body of the TUC. And at those meetings, we will detail the plans we intend to follow if government fails to accede to our request. And when that time comes, you will hear from us. You will know exactly what we'll be doing. But definitely, we will advise ourselves if government does not accede to our request.
We're grateful. Dr. Nyako, thank you for spending some time with us here on The Pulse.